Hi, welcome back. It's me, Jay, and I've got an agenda. Well, welcome back to Jay Agenda number 11. Before I get going today, I want to remind you to hit that like button, and if you think this content's worth sharing with other people, by all means, I would appreciate it very much if you did that. I hope you're doing well today. Just recently, I had an experience with um, some fundamentalist Christian, and it reminded me of something that happened many years ago, and I wanted to talk about that on this particular episode. Now, I need to set the background here a little bit. If you haven't watched my series here on my channel about the birth, life, and the death of my religious faith, I really encourage you to do that. Go look at all four of those, and work your way through those. And I say that because fundamentalist Christians are not a unique experience to me. All right, I knew these people. I know a few of them, and so that's reflecting on all that really was what brought me to this episode today. I want to share with you today a critique, all right, of a very pernicious Christian doctrine based in a couple of passages in the Gospels. The one is from Luke, and I believe the next one is from Matthew. I want to read from Luke 14:26. I know some of you are gonna wince here, and I don't mean to bore you. Man, oh man, the Bible is one of the most boring books. By the way, forgive me for sipping tea. You might be able to figure out I'm looks like I might be losing my voice. I got somebody sneezed on me the other day, and I thought, that might make me sick. Et voila! 36 hours later, here I am sipping tea. Forgive me. But I do want to read this. It says, if anyone, now this is supposedly a quotation from Jesus, all right. If anyone comes to me and does not hate his father, his and mother, wife and children, brothers and sisters, yes, his own life also, he cannot be my disciple. He cannot be my disciple. Now, it's interesting. The first thing that jumped out of this to me is I hope you may have picked up on it too. If anyone comes to me and does not hate his father, mother, wife, children, there's no husband in there, brothers and sisters, yes, his own life also, he cannot be my disciple. Well, in the context here, there were a lot of crowds. It says large crowds were traveling with Jesus, and he stopped and he turned and he said these words to them. Well, ladies, I guess you're off the hook, right? Maybe he didn't want any. Maybe he didn't want any lady disciples. Right? It doesn't say anything. In fact, you're the ones who are to be the object of a man's hate, um, in lieu of their devotion to Jesus. So, what is being said here is that, hey guys, if you really want to follow me here, you're required to hate everything that you love, everything that you have, and even yourself. That is a very tall order, and I can't imagine that was an appealing message. Now, taken literally, as it most certainly is by many fundamentalist Christians, this is a condition necessary for discipleship. That is, to be a follower of Jesus. This is a requirement of extreme devotion and loyalty to mythical Jesus over genuine and meaningful human relationships. Think about it. This is a call for someone to hate everything else that they love to follow some idea in their head based on words in a book. This is the demand of a non-existent cult leader. Think of it. It promotes family separation and it fosters guilt. This verse has been, and it is used, as a means of regarding oneself as morally superior to friends, family, and other people because of a devotion to Jesus. And I have witnessed, I'm going to get emotional here probably throughout this, I have witnessed family units broken apart because some fundie or fundies in the family separated themselves or pushed others away in self-righteous, zealous devotion to the myth of Jesus. Now, this verse is not hyperbole. Neither is it saying anything less than what it is actually saying. The Greek word here, and I transliterate this, miseo, M-I-S-E-O, forgive me for a lack of the poor pronunciation, but it means to hate. That's right, to hate. If you want to, get yourself a concordance and look it up. It means to pursue someone with hatred, to detest someone. No matter the slick reinterpretation or redefinition of the word by certain Christian apologists, it literally means to hate and detest. So let's read this again using that word. Another sip of tea. If anyone comes to me and does not detest his father and mother, wife and children, brothers and sisters, yes, his own life, he cannot be my disciple. A disciple of the non-historical, obscure Jesus must therefore detest parents, spouses, children, siblings, and their own life. This sounds destructive, this sounds divisive, and this sounds cruel, and there are people who actually do this. And this is the idea behind some fundamentalist politicians who will place their own religious interpretations, their own religious dogma, their own religious biases, their own devotion to their cult leader ahead of their commitment and service to the public. This is a pernicious doctrine. It's a doctrine that I, as a humanist and as a communist, reject, and I will resist it. Why? Because this kind of thing tears at the fabric of social order. It is a destructive doctrine, and those who espouse this kind of extreme cultic devotion to a fable, to a fabricated character, and Jesus in the Bible is fabricated, should themselves be the ones pushed to the very margins of society. We might be able to make a good case for re-education camps. But I don't want to get into that today. And another question that comes to my mind is, then how does this square with the Old Testament rule to honor one's parents? Let's take a look at Exodus 20:12. It says, honor your father and your mother, that your days may be long in the land in which the Lord your God is giving you. Now, I'm not a Hebrew scholar. I'm not going to make that claim. I did look up what the word honor meant, and I went to the best sources that I know, and that's the best I can do. But it is a Hebrew word. It's pronounced either chavad or chaved, and I'm not sure which one it is. And it's difficult to literally translate it into English, but it conveys the idea of reverence towards one's parents, to honor, to glorify one's parents. So tell me, how does this square with cult leader Jesus' command to detest them all and to follow him? Is it not alleged that Jesus himself said in Matthew 15:4, "For God said, honor your father and mother, and anyone who curses his father and mother must be put to death." Now somebody could wiggle out of that and say, well, I, you know, I could detest them, but I won't curse them. That would be breaking a commandment. Give me a break. And again, in Mark 7:10, it says, "For Moses said," I hope you caught that. I'll come back in a minute. "For Moses said, honor your father and mother. Anyone who curses his father and mother must be put to death." Now, in Matthew 15:4, it says, allegedly, this is a quote again of the Jesus character. He said, "For God said, honor your father and mother." And in Mark 7:10, it said, "For Moses said, honor your father and mother." Look it up. Look them up. Who said it? Who said it? Somebody's going to say, well, Jehovah was speaking through Moses to the people, for the people. Okay, all right, fair enough, maybe. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe I wasn't there. All right? I don't know. But why would it seem to me, why would Jesus put it two different ways? Oh, maybe it was a contextual thing. You speak to the audience that you have. Or maybe he didn't say it at all. Somebody got it wrong anyway. Anyway, all of this that's a discussion for another day. But I want to look at a similar verse in the storybook that is the New Testament Bible, and it's Matthew 10:17. And it said, "He who loves father or mother more than me is not worthy of me, and he who loves son or daughter more than me is not worthy of me." Fuck you, Jesus. I have a visceral reaction to this. I most certainly love my children and my family and my grandchildren more than I would ever love any fabricated deity. Again, this kind of doctrine sounds like a demand that a cult leader would make of his followers. And again, there are people who actually put this to practice in their lives. Put this Roman iteration of a deity, and Jesus is an entirely Roman fabrication. What this iteration of a Roman iteration of a deity is purported to have said is a demand for primary and extreme devotion over meaningful human bonds that tie our society together. I'm going to say it again. This kind of anti-family, anti-social, fundamentalist Christian poison should be vomited completely out of the body of humanity. Unfortunately, in many societies, they're not even gagging on it yet. I want you to know that I know the heartbreak of these broken relationships, whether somebody separated themselves from your life or they pushed you away due to some cultic appeal and religious devotion to some God-man conceived and created in the 2nd and 3rd century, who broken relationships due to these spiritual totems that people erect in their foggy cognition. I'm sorry that happened to you. And even though these kinds of people separate themselves, or they limit their contact with you, or they push you out of their life, be the bigger person. Be the better person. Stay in touch with them. Forgive them in ways that they can't really forgive you. Remain consistent in your love for them. Let them know that you love them and you still love them. For the people who believe this bullshit, and I'm gonna quote the Bible again. They really, for they know not what they do. Now, you don't have to, in fact, please don't become a Christian just so you can be with them, or they with you, right? Don't compromise that when you know darn well, it's a fabrication. It's a call to a cult. But be open, be patient, and be receptive to them. And it's my hope that if you have suffered the pain of familial separation because of this idiotic, fundamentalist, stupid Christian doctrine, hang in there. Just hang in there. And I want for you very much for your relationship to be healed and reconciled one day. Don't give up on them. Maybe they'll come around. Anyway, that's it for J Agenda 11. Thank you for watching. I appreciate your time. You're never going to get this time back. And yet you chose to spend some of the time of your life, which you should love more than anything else. Spend it with me watching this. I am humbled and I'm honored. I'll see you next time.